There is a feminine side to God. God himself does not have a gender. Okay? God is not a man. We would not put him down so much to say he's a man. Nor would we put him down to say he's a woman. Because you see, that would be a come down to God. But there is a feminine side to God, and this feminine side is what? Wisdom. Now, let's go on and we'll talk more about that. All right, it says, don't forsake wisdom, and she will protect you. Wisdom is going to protect me? Well, now think about it. Think about the role of women in society from the beginning. You know, one of the roles of women in society, one of the major roles, if not the major role, is what? Motherhood. And what do mothers do? Nurture, exactly. Nurture and protect. Okay? So, this feminine side of God is going to, when you embrace the feminine side of God, which is wisdom, is going to what? Is going to protect you. And we know that wisdom will protect you because remember talking about sin on that road? When you get off the road, that's not so good. Stay on the road will protect you. And that's what mothers tell their children. And mothers are the greatest influence on children up until a certain age, you see, especially with the young ones where, you know, between the ages of 1 and 6, more learning and growing is done and affecting of a child's personality and who they're going to be in the first 6 years of any other time of their life. And the biggest influence on that is who? Mothers. By and large, not in every case, but almost every case. And that's what God is talking about here. She will protect you and she'll watch over you because wisdom is going to be with you if you allow wisdom in. And then he says wisdom is supreme. Wisdom is at the highest level. So as motherhood and wisdom are of the highest level, and actually I'll even go so far as to say as womanhood is too, because it's relatable here. And so with all of that, God says, therefore, get wisdom. Seek it. Don't just let it fall upon you. Go after it. The understanding of God, the integration of God. Though it cost all you have, get understanding. To really get a handle on this, you have to make a lot of effort. That's a good thing, though. Because anything worth having has a cost. But those costs pay off exponentially. And then he says this. Esteem her. Raise her up. And she will exalt you. Raise up a woman, raise up the feminine side of God. See that that is a great thing. And you'll see the greatness that God has given you. And then this. Embrace her. And she will honor you. Now, you see, that's one thing I think that in our society today that we don't do very well. We don't honor women very well. If you don't believe it, go out into the world and listen to the current popular music. What does it say about women? It puts women down in a big way. It's not the first time. I think one of the things about our society today that is reflected in one of the most interesting phenomenon I've ever seen, and that is the advent of Sarah Palin. Isn't that an interesting thing? Here is a woman coming from out of nowhere, really, who has been nominated to be Vice President of the United States, and what's really interesting to me is to see what we've done with that. Because on the one hand, she has been revered, she's been exalted, she's been held up and said how wonderful this is. And on the other hand, she's been put down and she's been denigrated to a very low level just because of who she is and what she's done, who she is being a woman. And she's been put down by not just men, but by women. Now, whether you agree with her politics or don't agree with her politics, I think it's interesting for us and as Christians to look at how we treat women. I firmly believe that women are as capable, as smart, maybe smarter than men. And that women need to get wisdom too. And when women get wisdom, you know what happens when we get wisdom? We hear what God is telling us. And we hear what God is telling us. You see, God is calling us to be certain ways, to do certain things. I believe women are very capable of being CEOs in companies. And if God is calling them to do that, then they need to do that. And we need not, men or other women, stand in the way of that. But on the other hand, I also believe that God is calling some women, a lot of women, to be mothers and homemakers. And we need not stand in the way of that either. Because you see, for us to stand in the way of God, I have discovered, is not wise. You see, the greatest thing about wisdom and the knowledge of God, the integration of God, is to know that God knows what's right and best for his people. And in our society, but especially in our church, we need to honor women. We need to respect women. I'm talking to men and women. We need to respect women. We need to honor women. Husbands, you need to honor and respect your wives. Because you see, all of that is God's wisdom, which we really can't live without. When we honor women, we honor God. Amen.